Assalamu alaikum, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Dear students, today we are going to study unit number 18 of English grade 11th, and the topic for today's lesson is A Dream Within a Dream. It's a poem by Edgar Allan Poe. So let's start the poem and then we will move towards the question answers, and after that we will do the grammatical portion of this lesson. So first of all, let's read the poem and then we will read it again and try to understand what the poet wants to say and wants to express in this poem. So the poet says that take this kiss upon the brow, upon the forehead. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow. So the poet says that when you are leaving, just give me a kiss on my forehead. In parting, while I am parting from you, while I am going away from you, while we are separating. So the poet says that take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow. Like, let me at least explain and let me at least confess and accept that you are not wrong who who thinks, who perceives, who believes that my days have been a dream. So the poet is saying to his beloved that you are not the only and the first person who thinks that my life has been a dream and my life has been unreal and superficial. The poet says that while you are going away, while you are leaving me, just at least give me a kiss on my forehead and let me confess, let me accept it, that it is not you are not the first person and the only person to say this, that my life have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away, the poet says that if the hope has gone away, if the hope has vanished in a night or a day, or in a day, in a vision or in none, like if the hope has gone during the night, or if the hope has given during the day, if the hope has given during a vision, like while I was seeing it, or in none, like if the hope has gone out of nothing, and if the hope has just vanished without any reason and without any prior notification, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. So the poet here explains the reality of this life very beautifully and very philosophically. The poet says that all that we see or seem, all those things that we can see with our own eyes, and all those things about which we just make some ideas, we make some random and academic or educated guesses, all these things, all the realities of this world, whether they are the realities of our real life, whether they are the realities of some another life, whether they are the realities of earth or they are the realities of the sky, either they are the realities of life or either they are the realities of death, either they are the realities of good, either they are the realities of bad, either they are the realities of darkness, either they are the realities of brightness. All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. Like we are living in a dream. We are habitual of looking at the things with our personal perspectives. What we believe is what we see. Okay, what we believe. Okay, that is what we perceive and feel around ourselves. In next stanza, the poet moves to another context and he says that I stand amid the roar. Amid, in between. The poet says that I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. The poet says that I am standing in between a shore, okay, and there is a roar of the waves, and those waves are tormenting the shore. They are disturbing the shore. They are disturbing the bank and the edge of the ocean. And I am standing there and I am holding some grains of golden sand in my hand. And what happens? How few? Like the poet says that when I hold the grains of golden sand, when I hold the sand in my hands, the particles of sand, they look very few. They look very little. Yet how they creep? They're very small, but they are creeping, like they are falling from my fingers. They are running from my fingers. They are escaping from my fingers through my fingers to the deep. Like I grasp I grasp an amount of golden grains of sand in my face, and when I try to grasp them, and when I try to hold them with a strong grip, they start creeping and they start falling towards the deep of the ocean, while I weep, like when it happens to me, the poet says that I am crying and I am feeling helpless, and then the poet talks to God. He addresses God and he says that, oh God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? Here the poet is actually symbolizing his days, symbolizing his happinesses, symbolizing his wishes and all his desires with golden grains of sand. The poet says that my wishes and my days and my all desires are like the grains of golden sand, and I am trying to grasp those grains of golden sand in my grip, and I am trying to capture them and I am trying to control them, but those wishes and those desires and all my feelings and all my relatives and all my relations, they are out of my control. They are creeping through my fingers and they are moving towards the deep, and I am just crying and I am helpless. I am feeling helpless. And the poet says that, oh God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? Now apparently he is talking about the grains of golden sand, but actually he is talking about the incidents of life. He is talking about his wishes, he is talking about his desires, he is talking about his emotions, he is talking about his goals. Okay, and he is talking about all his memories, and he is saying that, oh God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? Like, can I not control my life? Can I not control my emotions? Can I not control and have a grip over my desires? Oh God, can I not save one? Can I not save one from the pitiless wave? The poet says that my days and my life and my emotions and my desires, I are like grains of the golden sand, and the people around me and the things around me and the environment and the whole world is like a surf tormented shore. Like my life is like some golden grains of sand, and those golden grains of sand are shattered from my hands, and they are not in my control, and they are moving to the ocean of surf tormented shore. The poet says that, oh God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is that all? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? Now in first stanza, if you just observe it, that at the end of the first stanza, the poet has used these lines, all that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. And here again the poet has used these two lines, is all that what we see or seem but a dream within a dream. But there is a difference. In first stanza, at the end of the first stanza, the poet has used these two lines or this couplet as a affirmative sentence, as a positive sentence. But here he has made it an interrogative sentence. Here he is asking a question. Now this is what he used to believe, okay, and here he is asking or validating or verifying his belief from the God. He is talking to God and he is saying that, is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? Okay, so this is how the poet has very beautifully and very artistically explained the harsh realities and the brutal truths of life, that we think that things are in our control, but actually the things are not in our control. So this poem is written by Edgar Allan Poe, and he was born on January 19, 1809, and he died on 7th of October 1849. He was an American writer, editor, and literary critic. Poe is best known for his poetry and short stories. He is widely regarded as a central figure of Romanticism in the United States and of American literature as a whole. So some of his famous poems are Al-Araf, Annabel Lee, The Bells, The City in the Sea, The Conqueror Worm, A Dream Within a Dream, El Dorado, Elule, The Haunted Palace, To Helen, Lenore, etc. and etc. And one poem that they have missed is The Raven. That is a very beautiful poem and my personal favorite as well. So we will do the question answer at the end. Let's complete the grammatical portion first. Now look at the list of the nouns in the box below, and they are also verbs. You have to select the correct ones to fill the blanks. You may need to make some tense changes. Okay. So these are the words that you have to use. They are used as nouns and as verbs as well. Okay. So actually they are nouns, but sometimes they are used as verbs as well. Okay. So try and picture what the house will look like once the builders have finished. So here picture will come. Mr. Nasir will chair. Chair means he will be the president. He will be the person sitting on the chair and making decisions and listening to the other members of the meeting. Mr. Nasir will chair this meeting as our usual president is ill today. Shakespeare is considered to be the writer who coined, introduced, invented, produced, who coined more phrases than anyone else. Can you help me with these leaflets, Abrar? I have to hand one to every woman who is with child. Hand one to give one leaflet to every woman who is with a child. This wall is too rough. We will have to sand it to level it, to make it when there are some rigid and rough textures on the wall and you have to level it, it means that you have to sand it. We will have to sand it down before we can paint it. The smugglers beached to bring something on the shore. The smugglers beached their boats and unloaded the stolen goods into the waiting car. The student of mine has been dogging me, like teasing me for a very long time. When someone is after you and someone is following you for the sake of disturbance, you can say that person is dogging me. The student of mine has been dogging me with stupid questions all week. Why doesn't he go and use the library? Question number 8 is male wolf can become father, can father up to 200 cubs in its lifetime. The snow is getting really heavy now. I think we should radio for help down in the valley. Question number 10 is, why don't you pen a letter? Why don't you write a letter to your father, seeing as you have a spare 20 minutes? Captain, how many men were manning? Manning, when you are doing some mechanical work with the help of men, that is called manning. They were manning it. Okay, like there is a task that can be accomplished with the help of machines as well, but you are using the manual labor to do that job. In that type of context, you use the word of manning. Captain, how many men were manning the lifeboats when the ship finally sank? Sir, could you get out of your car, please? We have just trapped you, doing over 115 meter per hour. Do you have an explanation? Okay, so next topic is adverbs and adverbial phrases. So an adverbial phrase is a group of words that act together as an adverb, giving more information about a verb, adjective, or another adverb in a sentence. The adverbial phrase answers the same question as a regular adverb: how much, when, or where. So in a sentence, when there is a question, when you are saying something and a question arises in the mind, that how much or when or where, so when you answer these questions, these automatically arising questions in your mind, when you answer these questions in a sentence, so these type of questions are actually and usually answered with the help of adverbial phrases. For example, I have highlighted the answers and I will explain it here as well. We hope the package will arrive. Now when someone says that the package will arrive, there arises a question in the mind, when. So that question of when is answered here with adverbial phrase, that within the hour. Okay, so the questions like when, how much, or where are usually answered with the help of adverbial phrases or adverbial clauses. My sister reads books like how much, almost as quickly as you do. Okay, the news reports the metro will be closed when or how, for how much time? For a week. Your pen writes how? Better than my pen does. Okay, Nawab takes the bus when? On Tuesdays. Jamal and Maryam will arrive How? By train. So these type of questions are usually answered by the help of adverbial phrase. The dog digs where? Under the fence. Mom helps me with my homework. How often or how much? More often than than dad does. Asma found her purse when? That afternoon. We flew our kites where? On the big hill. Now here you have to match each main clause with an adverbial phrase to create a sentence. Okay, so here the adverbial phrases are given and in front of them the main clauses are given. Okay, so you have to match them. For example, the first one bleak afternoon. One bleak afternoon, she began to speak in Russian one bleak afternoon. Okay, second, not too far away, the dog began barking not too far away. So this sentence will go here. All around the world, something odd was happening all around the world. Across the street, the boys began to play catch across the street. Without warning, the dog began barking without warning. Far beneath the surface, 4. Something sinister began to stare far beneath the surface. So this is how you solve these type of activities. Next is adverb clause, another activity, and it is activity number C. Find out the adverb clauses in the following sentences. So you have to find out the adverb clauses like we have done in the previous activity. Even if it rains, I will come. Now, even if it rains is an adverb clause. When you have finished your work, you may go home. Like you may go home when you have finished your homework. So this whole clause is adverbial clause. You can put it wherever you like. I did not buy that watch because it was expensive. You must go whether you hear from him or not. He spoke in such a low voice that few people could hear him. Since you have apologized, you have apologized is adverbial clause. I have not been well since I returned from the hills. I have not been well from when? Since I returned from the hills. So this since I returned from the hills is the adverbial clause. He was so weak that he could not stand. How much weak? That he could not stand. As he was not there, I spoke to his mother. Why? As he was not there. So then activity number D is underline the adverb phrases in the following sentences and then use them in new sentences. She lives in a palatial home. Okay, so she lives where? In a palatial home. Is there water on the moon? So I have highlighted the answers. She ran into her room. They chatted for a while. She performed the task with a great skill. The desert stretched towards the north. The gun went off with a loud noise. The fishers went sailing over the sea. He lay beside the heap of corn. She whispered in the air. He fought with all his might. He shouted at the top of his voice. It must be done at any cost. Much water has run under the bridge. Without pausing to consider, he struck the below. Next, activity number E is fill in the blanks with a suitable word provided under the sentences to make adverbial clauses. I waited for my friend until he arrived. He hid where his pursuers could not find him. I am as intelligent as you are. As he was not there, I left a message with his mother. We eat so we may live. She was such tired that she could barely stand. If you eat too much, you may fall ill. Though he started early, he finished late. Unless you do not tell me everything, I will not be able to help you. Until. Do not go until I get ready. Next, activity number F is each of the proverbial sayings contains an adverb clause. Identify the adverb clause in each sentence. While the cat's away, the mice will play. A lie travels around the world while truth is putting her boots on. Now these are very beautiful proverbials. If you do not know where you are going, any road will get you there. Memory is deceptive because it is colored by today's events. never looks down on anybody unless you are helping him up. You have to kiss a lot of toads before you find a handsome prince. Whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it is time to pause and reflect. Life is what happens when you are making other plans. As soon as you forbid something, you make it extraordinarily appealing. Everything is funny as long as it's happening to somebody else. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. If you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Don't cross the bridge till you come to it. I think last activity, fill in the blanks to complete each sentence to make adverbial clause. The woman took notes while being taught to cook. So you have to find out the adverbial clause. We will go to the game, but even if it rains. You can put the package wherever you like. Since you have apologized, you will not be punished. She was so tired that she could not stand. So that is the end of grammatical portion. Now we go to the question answers. Question number 1 is that what idea does the parting of beloved bring in Poe's mind? So the speaker of this poem is dramatized with his beloved, who has said that the speaker's days have been a dream, and the speaker agrees that this relationship has been really great and dreamy, and the speaker's life itself is not in line with how things actually are. That is, the speaker has been living in a sort of fantasy world. The lover's comments and the pain of saying goodbye lead the speaker to express a kind of hopelessness rooted in doubt about the nature of reality and control. Indeed, perhaps this idea stems from the way that something like love can seem so certain before one day it is suddenly gone. Question number 2 is that what is the theme of the poem and how it is developed in the poem. So frustration, the existence of life, and sorrow over the transient life are some of the major themes in this poem. These themes are evident in both stanzas. The first stanza shows sadness because the speaker is bidding goodbye to his beloved. However, her departure makes him question his existence. He mourns the temporary nature of life that has brought despair and sorrow. In the second stanza, he is still sad, holding grains of sand. No matter how hard he tries to hold, the sand grains slip away. Ironically, he compares human life to the falling of the grains of sand. He questions God to lead him to the reality of life, as for him it is nothing but a dream within a dream. I hope you are understanding. I have been delivering these lectures in a mixed discourse, like I was using Urdu as well, but now I think that we have studied 15 to 16 lessons using a mixed approach. Now it is time that we should move and we should shift to the direct medium, and we should move towards proper English because it will help you out in your communication skills and in your speaking as well. So that's why I'm trying to explain all these things in English. Question number 3 is that what metaphor does the poet use for his inability to hold reality and fleeting time? So the poet uses the metaphor of sand for his inability to hold reality and fleeting time. Sand in this poem represents certainty and control, two things the speaker simply cannot grasp. So the poet wants to grasp certainty, जिसको हम यकीन कहते हैं, and control, but the poet is unable to do that. Instead, grains of sand slips through the speaker's fingers, and the speaker cannot stop this process any more than the speaker cannot stop the waves from pounding on the shoreline. So here the symbol is that जिस तरीके से मुसन्निफ जो है वो जो लहरें आके साहिल को छू छू के जा रही हैं, जिस तरीके से वो उनको अपने काबू में नहीं कर सकता, इसी तरह से वो अपनी ज़िंदगी को भी अपने काबू में नहीं रख सकता. It also represents hourglass. Hourglass जो पुरानी घड़ियाँ होती थी जिसमें वो ऊपर भी एक कुप्पी लगी होती थी और नीचे भी एक कुप्पी लगी होती थी और उसमें रेत होती थी और एक एक कतरा नीचे गिरता रहता था. तो जब वो ऊपर वाला खाना खाली हो जाता था तो फिर उसको उलट देते थे और उसका मतलब होता था कि एक घंटा पूरा हो चुका है. So it also represents hourglass and symbolizes that no matter how much the speaker tries to get a firm, solid grip on reality and time, they keeps दे कीप क्रीपिंग अवे, कि आप जितना भी वक्त को और हकीकत को रोकने की कोशिश करें, ये चीज़ें आपके दस्तरस में और इख्तियार में नहीं होती. So what is the tone of the poem and illustrate it with reference from the poem. So the overall tone of the speaker is depressing and contemplative. वो contemplate कर रहा है, पछतावे में है. The speaker is in summation. Okay, summation like a summation of life कि ज़िंदगी पूरी इकट्ठी होके आ गई है. The speaker is in summation of life in a way that he sees that life is slipping through the cracks, ultimately resulting in death or a false life. He uses the words like avow, creep, weep, tormented shore, pitiless wave, and grains of sand. So these words are used by the writer to express the reality of life. Question number 5 is that what type of imagery is used in the poem and what feelings does it evoke in you? So the use of imagery makes the reader to visualize the writer's feeling and emotions. Poe has used images appealing to the sense of sight, such as kiss upon the brow, grain of golden sand, and pitiless wave. So these are the images that help the reader to feel the same pain felt by the poet. Question number 6 is that pick out examples of alliteration from the poem and also describe its rhyme scheme. How does these poetic devices contribute to the music of the poem? So alliteration is used throughout the poem. And for example, these are the lines number 4 and 5. You are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. So the sound here is repeated again and again, and the repetition of a particular sound again and again is called alliteration. So the sound here links days, a word that stands in for life generally, with dream. So here days and dreams, so these are two different things. And क्योंकि क्वेश्चन भी आपसे ये है कि क्या इफेक्ट जो है वो इससे जनरेट किया जाता है, ये जो पोएटिक डिवाइसेस हैं ये किस तरीके से पोएम के अंदर एक म्यूजिकल टच लेके आती हैं. तो दीज आर टू डिफरेंट थिंग्स, बट द पोएट हैज ट्राइड टू ब्रिंग देम एंड फैब्रिकेट देम इन अ सिंगल सेंटेंस. So life therefore is linked with illusion and unreality, but what is also notable is that the alliteration here seems to increase the riddle-like quality of poem, as though the speaker is trying to figure out some vital puzzle about life. कि जैसे पोइट जो है वो ये दिन और जो ख्वाब है उनके दरमियान में कहीं फंसा हुआ है और वो रियलिटी को और जो ज़िंदगी की पजल है उसको सॉल्व करने की कोशिश में लगा हुआ है. Sounds are repeated and fold in one another, echoing the speaker's confused vision of reality as an illusion within another illusion. तो पोइट को ऐसा लगता है कि जैसे ज़िंदगी जो है ये क्या है, ये एक धोखों का सफ़र है और इसमें हम सिर्फ धोखे खा रहे हैं. इसी तरीके से इन लाइन 18 ऑफ द वर्ड्स वाइल एंड वीप, रेपिटेशन ऑफ डब्ल्यू साउंड क्रिएट्स अ सेंस ऑफ सर्कुलरिटी. जैसे हम एक किसी सर्कुलरिटी के अंदर हम घूम रहे हैं और हम एक दायरों के अंदर जैसे घूम रहे हैं. सर्कुलरिटी ऑफ रियलिटी फोल्डिंग इन on itself. The speaker wants clarity but just repeats the same thing, returns to the same words and sounds without new understanding. And the rhyme scheme of the first stanza is this: A A A A A A B B C C D D E E. And the rhyme scheme of second stanza is A A B B C C C D D E E F F. And question number 7 is that why does the poet call life a dream within a dream? So the poem explores the idea that reality is an illusion. The speaker asks if the life, everything that we see, is just a dream within a dream. The speaker is suggesting that people are doomed to view, they are habitual of seeing, कि उनकी मुकद्दर में ये बात देखी गई है, to view the world through the prism of their own perceptions and experiences. In this sense, the poem questions if it is ever possible to know the objective reality of anything at all. तो मुसन्निफ जो है वो ये कहना चाह रहा है कि हम हर चीज़ को अपने नज़रिए से और अपने जाविये से देखते हैं, और उसके बाद फिर वो ये सवाल उठाता है कि जब हमारी आदत ये है तो क्या ऐसा पॉसिबल है कि हम एक ऐसे सच पर पहुंच सकें जो हकीकत में सच हो. एंड बिकॉज द वर्ड इज अल्टीमेटली अननोएबल, द पोएम implies people are not really in control of their own fates, and they are living their lives like a dream within a dream. Question number 8 is that what did the poem make you think of and how did it make you feel? कि आप क्या सोचते हैं इस पोएम को पढ़कर. This poem makes us think that fundamental perceptions might not be what they seem to be. It evokes a question that is life nothing but a series of unreal events that the mind invents within the unreal environment created by God. तो ये क्वेश्चन हमें हमसे ये नज़म पूछती है. दिस पोएम मेक्स अस रियलाइज दैट टाइम पासेस एंड देयर इज लिटिल वी कैन डू टू अरेस्ट इट. कीप होल्ड ऑफ इट. Human emotions, thoughts, and consciousness cannot affect this notion of life as a series of subconsciously driven experiences. कि हमें जितना भी बुरा लगे, हमें जितनी भी तकलीफ हो, लेकिन हम वक्त को नहीं रोक सकते और हम ये जो हकीकत का एक सफ़र है इसको हम अपने काबू में नहीं कर सकते. Poe is saying that some of us could be accused of living life as in a dream. That is, with hardly a grip of reality, but nevertheless, some of those dreamers may be visionaries. तो मुसन्निफ ये कहता है कि हम में से बहुत सारे लोग हो सकते हैं कि जो ज़िंदगी गुजार रहे हैं वो ख्वाबों की ज़िंदगी हो जिसका हकीकत से कोई ताल्लुक ही नहीं है, लेकिन ऐसे ख्वाबों में रहने वाले लोग जो हैं वो विजनरी भी हो सकते हैं. होप स्प्रिंग्स इटर्नल, होप गोज नो मैटर हाउ वी लिव. कि जो उम्मीद है वो उजागर भी होती है, वो जन्म भी लेती है और वो चली भी जाती है, और इस बात का कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता कि हम किस तरह की ज़िंदगी गुजारते हैं और हम कैसे रहते हैं. ये ज़िंदगी का सफ़र है और ये इसी तरीके से जारी रहता है. सो लेट्स मूव टू द समरी. जस्ट रीड इट एंड देन वी विल एंड दिस लेसन. दिस पोएम वाज रिटन बाय Edgar Allan Poe and was first published in 1849 in a magazine, The Flag of Our Nation. The poem is famous for the way it represents humans' predicament of transient life and dreams. The poem comprises the speaker's profound feelings, anxious state of mind, and existential crisis of life and dreams. Existential crisis, when you are suffering in between to find out the life, to find out the meaning in life. कि जब आप अपने वजूद के साथ लड़ रहे होते हैं कि क्या मेरी क्या वैल्यू है और कायनात के अंदर मेरा क्या मकाम है और मैं क्या हूँ, तो इस तरह की जब आप क्राइसिस से गुजरे होते हैं तो दिस टाइप ऑफ क्राइसिस आर कॉल्ड एग्जिस्टेंशियल क्राइसिस. द पोएट स्टेट्स दैट हिज लाइफ इज मेयरली अ ड्रीम विद इन अ ड्रीम. ऑल्दो सैड, he knows that nothing in life is tangible or permanent. Everything he possesses must come to an end. It also means, like dreams, life goes on with lightning speed and no one can grasp anything. In the first stanza, the poet represents love and deep feeling when parting from his potential lover. After bidding goodbye to his love, he thinks that their union is nothing but a dream. However, in the second stanza, the metaphor of sand highlights that there is no tight grip on reality and time. It just passes no matter if a person accepts the reality or not. The expression of sorrow runs throughout the poem, and however, what enchants the reader is the universal appeal of the poem regarding dream and dreamlike situations. So this poem makes us think that fundamental perceptions might not be what they seem to be. It evokes a question that is life nothing but a series of unreal events that the mind invents within the unreal environment created by God. This poem makes us realize that time passes and there is little we can do to arrest it. Keep hold of it. Human emotions, thoughts, and consciousness cannot affect this notion of life as a series of subconsciously driven experiences. Poe is saying that some of us could be accused of living life as a dream, that is, with hardly a grip on reality, but nevertheless, some of those dreamers may be visionaries. Hope springs eternal, hope goes no matter how we live. So this is the end of today's lesson. Inshallah, in next class we will move to lesson number 19. There are 22 lessons in this syllabus of your first year English. So we are about to complete the book, and thank you for your support. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for learning with me. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.